Welcome back to Politics Tonight. On the program today, I have the founding chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, Chief Chekwas Okorie. We're discussing APGA and the 2023 elections. All right, Chief Okorie, after your party, that's the United People's Party, was registered by INEC, you rejoined the APC to support your friend, President Muhammadu Buhari, to build the nation. What then happened? Why did you again desert the party for APGA?
Well, when UPP was deregistered for reasons that INEC gave, I decided that we will not go to court to challenge it. There were parties that decided to challenge it. We called what we called valedictory meeting of our NEC, the National Executive Committee of the party, and we agreed that we were not going to contest that INEC action, but that we were done with opposition. We've been in I'm the longest standing opposition politician in Igbo land today. Nobody alive in Igbo politics today who have done more opposition than myself, because when you are fighting for your people, you cannot be part of the establishment. Because you cannot fight for your people from the inside. It's not always easy. So, but when the leadership of APGA, under the leadership of Chief Edozie Njoku, the authentic national chairman of APGA, led the National Executive Committee of the party to my residence at Enugu and pleaded with me to please return to the party that I founded and help bring it back to the center. Because APGA had been reduced not even to a regional party, but to not just even to a state party, but to a community party. At a time, anyway, let me not go into all that. So there was need to bring APGA back to the center. It was impossible for me to resist the passionate appeal. I had no problem with the people I met in APC. My friendly relationship with President Muhammadu Buhari dates back to 2003, when the Modumegwu Ojukwu led all of us, along with the other parties, to protest about the massive rigging of the election after the 2003 presidential election. That was when our relationship began. And so I said, okay, if we are leaving the party, let us go and bat in a ruling party. And we batted in APC. We remained there. We had no problem in APC, no complaints. But when this appeal came, it was irresistible. And when I accepted, the jubilation was everywhere, home and abroad. So I knew I took the right step by the reaction of the people. And I'm now in APGA. As I said, I'm back in APGA for good. That is the last bus stop for me for the remainder of my life. By next month, I'll be 70 years old. So what will I be going any other place to do? God has used Chief Edozie Njoku and his associates to bring me back to the platform that I founded. It's such a divine thing, so spiritual. So I'm back.
All right. Now that you're back, why did you decide to join APGA, led by Edozie Njoku, and not the INEC-recognized Victor Oye faction?
No, INEC, honestly, I will come to... Edozie Njoku is the authentic national chairman of APGA, who has been recognized by the apex court of the land. By May 9th, 2022, the Supreme Court corrected its error in an earlier judgment and pronounced Chief Edozie Njoku as national chairman. I joined the party. I was part of the party convention on June 3, 2002. That means after the Supreme Court had recognized Chief Edozie Njoku. And in that convention, I was elected the presidential candidate. This is the position I occupy now. What Nigerians should be asking INEC, and I challenge the media to champion this interrogation, is what is the reason why INEC cannot obey the judgment of the Supreme Court? Even when the lead justice who read the lead judgment retired Justice Mary Odele came out of retirement to clarify that judgment in a very unambiguous and straightforward letter. Even after the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the current Chief Justice of Nigeria, directed the Chief Registrar of Nigeria to acknowledge the fact that an error was made, and that error was carried in that corrected judgment, but that Edozie Njoku should have come back to the court under Order 8 Rule 16 of the Supreme Court for amendment of what is called slip of the pen and tongue. And that process has been completed. INEC is a party to this suit. INEC was served all of these processes. Now, there is rumor everywhere in Nigeria today that there could be an interim government. I want to seize this opportunity to tell Nigerians that INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood, should tell Nigerians who is conspiring with to truncate the 2023 general election. Because if you exclude a political party from participating in election, so, that political party, that election will be excluded.
Accusations that you cannot substantiate. So let's stay on what. Now let me ask you, what is the way forward on this particular issue? I'm quoting the law.
The way forward is simple. I have said it here. I want to repeat myself. If INEC fails to recognize or continues to be recalcitrant in recognizing the clear pronouncement of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, and APGA, authentic APGA is excluded from this election, the entire election will be truncated. That is the law. It's not a weighty thing that requires investigation. You can't exclude a political party and expect the election to stand. And if that election is truncated, let nobody accuse APGA as being a party to its truncation. That is why I call on Nigeria. In fact, a civil society organization recently, just last week, raised the issue, raised the red flag. Nigerians, even the president of Nigeria, is aware that there's danger looming. The INEC must explain to Nigerians, because this election cannot take place without APGA. That is the law.
Chief, have you, as a former chairman of the party, contacted INEC on this issue?
INEC has more than 10 letters. I have no business interacting with them. The party has its own hierarchy. The party has a national chairman whose responsibility is to sign any communication on behalf of the party. I am just the founder and former chairman. And I am aware that Chief Edozie Njoku has written over 10 different letters to INEC without a single reply. I'm aware that the executive bailiff of the Supreme Court has served all processes with affidavit of service. All of these things are in soft copy. After this program, I can send all of them for you to look at.
All right, but it's quite confusing that INEC continues to recognize the Victor Oye-led faction instead of Edozie Njoku.
Well, there is conspiracy going on somewhere. That is why I'm seizing this opportunity you are giving to me to tell Nigerians that conspiracy is going on somewhere, and Nigerians may regret it if they allow only Chief Edozie Njoku, myself, to face what is a dangerous development that can hurt the entire country.
Well, amidst all of these issues,
don't forget that 350 billion naira, 350 billion naira, 350 billion naira of taxpayers' money was appropriated for this election. Nobody should toy with it for whatever reason. And I said that there is some conspiracy that is beyond even me. I don't know it, but it's on. And Nigerians should not keep quiet until the roof caves in on all of us.
All right. Now, amidst all of these issues, you're also running as the presidential candidate in the Edozie Njoku-led faction of APGA, where Professor Peter Umidi, former Chief Judge of Anambra State, as the recognized APGA presidential candidate. How do you intend to navigate through all of this?
INEC has to do what it has to do. I am the authentic presidential candidate, and all the other candidates who whose nominations are valid and legitimate, having been signed by Chief Edozen Joka and the National Secretary of the party. Any person who is relying on what the INEC is doing that is outside. And you see, there's no way INEC can be over and above the highest court of the land. I want to see it happen in this my lifetime. I want to see how INEC can sit in their office and set aside the judgment of the Supreme Court. Let us see it happen.
I know you have described APGA as a community party, and I would like to know, why has it been very difficult for the party to spread its influence outside Anambra State?
That is the tragedy of the crisis that APGA has had. In 2003, that APGA entered into the first general election in Nigeria, the party's entry was phenomenal. In the first attempt, the party came third in Nigeria. As we speak today, that party remains the second oldest party in Nigeria. And it has remained in that third position instead of improving to second or first. And so we have come to bring that party was founded to be a platform for national engagement, a platform to reintegrate the people that were not reintegrated in spite of the pronouncement of reconciliation, rehabilitation, and reintegration. We wanted to use that political party to bring it about democratically. But some people, rather, who didn't share in the vision, saw it as a cash cow to milk it, as I said earlier, plunder it, and move on. And they have been doing that. Don't forget that Chief Chekwas Okorie was governor of Imo State. After various failed attempts, he came to APGA, became governor, and from there he moved on. Victor Ume did his own plundering. Today he's in another party. And so on and so on. I can go on counting. But now we are bringing APGA back to where it belongs, the center of Nigeria, to be a big-time player. Aren't you worried, even if you are not a member of APGA, that since this election period started, and APGA was not categorized at all, it was not even mentioned as number anything. But since I unveiled my running mate, APGA Hadiza Mohammed, a week ago, APGA has come back to be reckoned with within 1 week. Wait until the election comes. APGA will shock so many people because it has a block vote of about 15 million votes waiting to be added to whatever else which are Ghana elsewhere. So APGA will still be the surprise of the 2023 election in spite of INEC.
All right, so while you intend to make APGA shock a whole lot of people, will your return to the party also end this perceived leadership crisis?
It has ended already. There's no more leadership crisis. Now, what can be leadership crisis when the Supreme Court has made a pronouncement, taking a position? Any other leadership crisis is whether you are going to the world court or to heaven. But as far as Nigeria is concerned, there is no leadership crisis in APGA anymore. There could be people who are rabble-rousers, troublemakers, very rascally persons doing things here and there. But APGA leadership crisis has been resolved by the Apex Court of the land, and that is where we are.
Chief, you continue to say there is no crisis and that the issues have been resolved, but at the moment, two persons are now parading themselves as presidential candidates of APGA, including you. Isn't this an embarrassment?
No, that's no thanks to INEC. That's no thanks to INEC. But it will also be resolved because it's not possible that INEC will set aside the Apex Court of the land. It will be I'm confident that a reason will prevail in the next few days. The authentic APGA will be on the ballot for the 25th of February presidential election and 11th of March for the other elections, the remaining elections. That's the governorship and the House of Assembly. It will be the authentic APGA that will be there. Right. I am very confident about that. I'm very confident about that.
All right. So I will wait for that. Many are saying APGA should be enjoying what Labour Party is enjoying now because APGA is considered a party for the Indigbo. What's your take, Chief?
Come again, that APGA should enjoy what?
APGA should be enjoying what Labour Party is currently enjoying because APGA is considered a party for Indigbos. So what's your take on that?
Let me tell you, let's look at as far as Labour Party is concerned, I want to tell you, and I accept it, that my brother, the one God used me to bring into political limelight, Mr. P2B, is a phenomenon. He has triggered off a movement that is not limited to Igbo land. A movement that has aroused the political consciousness of the youth of Nigeria. Nobody can take that away from him. But APGA has a natural, traditional, strong base that is not threatened by any other party, not APC, not PDP, not even Labour Party. So Labour Party and APGA are never in any struggle for space. Instead, there is even the possibility they could work together to achieve what has been my primary ambition and vision in life. I have said time without number that I pray that God will keep me alive to see an Igbo man become president of Nigeria within my own lifetime. So the possibility of that collaboration to actualize it is there. So let nobody think that APGA and Labour Party are in contention for space. No. If at all, APGA is in rivalry with the remaining 17 parties. Because APGA is the only political party that is genuinely talking about restructuring of Nigeria, not pretensions. Because the issue of restructuring is something I have been involved in for over 30 years.
How possible is this alliance? It's just 18 days to the election. How possible is this?
I'm not even talking of, you are giving it a title, alliance. I said they can collaborate in one way or the other.
How possible is this
election we hold on the... It is possible, even INEC itself, in spite of itself, has prepared for a runoff election and printed ballot papers in anticipation of that. What does that mean? It means that the first two parties will be involved and the others will help out for a party to become tops. That is the meaning of runoff. There could be an election where there is even an eventual winner in the first ballot, but there will be no control of the National Assembly to form government. That was how NCNC entered into coalition with MPC. That was how MPP entered into accord with MPN. And these are all political relationships we have even witnessed in Nigeria before, and it happens all over the world. If you go to most democracies in the world, their governments are coalition government of two or more parties. So it's not something to say how will it happen as if you require any extensive political engineering to do it. No. It's a natural evolution.
All right.
Political evolution.
All right, so Chief, now that you're back to APGA, do you think the party has what it takes to win more states in the Southeast? Owing to the fact that a Labour Party has Peter Obi, whom you've called your brother, a former APGA governor for 8 years, is now a strong factor in the politics of the region.
No, the APGA will win more states. For instance, I'm from Abia State. And this time, Abia State will be fully APGA. APGA have made attempts, very close attempts in Abia State, but now I'm here. I'm not a governorship candidate, but I will go and join the candidate and appeal to my people that it's the time now to look after me for my retirement. And they will listen to me because I have paid my dues. So we will win Abia. Our chances in Enugu and Ebonyi are very bright. And when we get those ones, November is Imo. Imo will be easy meat to chew. So right now, APGA has one state in Anambra State that is not in contention for 2023. I do not know, outside of what I have said about P2B's phenomenal entry into national politics, I do not know any state in Nigeria that Labour Party will win governorship. I do not know. So APGA still retains its own number 3 position. If Kwakwanso's MPP doesn't win Kano State, it simply means also that APGA's number 3 position is not threatened. All we are trying to do now is to improve on the status of that number 3 from 1 state to 2, 3, 4 or more states for the future. And that is just because we are constrained by man-made conspiracy. Otherwise, we would have been telling you that we'll be the one to form government in 2023.
All right, Chief. So, if you were approached by the 3 dominant parties, that's PDP, APC, and Labour Party, going by your earlier response, are you confirming that it would be Labour Party?
No, you see, I want you to understand me. APGA is going to contest the presidential election on May 25th. There's nothing like saying that APGA will stop midway and maybe adopt another person. It's not in my character. It's not in my nature. And I've paid so much dues as not to succumb to that type of thing. On the 25th of February, we will be on the ballot. After that, after being on the ballot, then whatever that follows, we will be able to look at it and take the best political decision for its members and the party going forward. But I'm saying that P2B is also a likely candidate to be supported if the need arises. We will not be the one to stand on his way. APGA cannot be his stumbling block. Instead, APGA will be a collaborator.
All right, so what's your relationship with Governor Soludo, who is the only APGA governor and APGA BOT leader? What's your relationship with him?
Friendly relationship. He is our only governor. And when you have an only child, you pamper the child. You look after the child. But you know things with people who are only special, the only children of their parents. Sometimes they can be stubborn. Sometimes they can also be rascally. But you don't throw away the only one that God has given you. So, as far as I'm concerned, I have very soft spot for Governor Soludo for many reasons, including the fact that he's the only one that APGA has right now. So I cannot be party to anything that will hurt his tenure in office, no. But eventually, I'm sure we are going to work together to take APGA to where it belongs. He has a critical role to play in that aspect.
All right, Chief. So if you were to advise Edoze Njoku and Victor Oya, the 2 persons laying claim to the leadership of APGA, now without sentiments, what will you tell them in the interest of the party?
I've said this before. I want to say it again. Chief Edoze Njoku has been confirmed as the national chairman of APGA. Chief Oye had been in that office for over 7 years, going to 8 years. If he has any APGA interest in him at all, he does not require my advice to concede the victory to Chief Edoze Njoku, so that we can move on. Other political parties have even worse situations, worse problems. They settle it among themselves and announce to the world that it's a family affair. It's been resolved as a family affair. But I find it difficult to see that APGA matters are never resolved as family affairs. And now we have to reach the Supreme Court. Supreme Court having made this pronouncement, what else will I say except to say, congratulations to Chief Edoze Njoku, and let any well-meaning member of APGA, whatever position you occupied before now, accept that the battle has been won and lost. That is my advice.
All right, so let's talk about the race to the 2023 elections. How will you describe it so far?
The quality of the campaigns, honestly, have been very poor. There has been too much name-calling. There have been acerbic language used here and there. Issues have never been canvassed. Even when they are canvassed at all, they are put in a manner that nobody tends to take them seriously. When you look at the, it's a pity we are coming a bit late into the race, but we still have enough time to make a difference. When you see the type of campaigns and rallies that have taken place, ask anybody who has attended, or those of us who may watch from the comfort of our homes on television, what will you take out of any of these rallies? All you will hear is that, oh, this particular artist performed wonderfully. The other one was at his best. That is what people who went to rally will tell you. What did the presidential candidate say? Nothing. Instead, he will tell you the other person is a criminal, the other one is this and that. That's the quality of campaigns we have. So it's been very, very poor. Nothing to pass on to the ordinary people. Even those who say they will restructure Nigeria, listen to them. They will tell you they will go through National Assembly to change the constitution. That is impossible. If you want to restructure Nigeria, you must take down this constitution completely. And why do it? You constitute a national conference. Come up with a constitution. And while that national conference is going on, you send an executive bill to the National Assembly for a referendum to be put in the constitution. So that the constitution arising from the national conference will be subjected to referendum, and after 1 year in office, Nigeria will have a completely brand new constitution that will heal all our wounds, take care of all our security problems, because we are going to have state police and community policing, and leave every state in Nigeria is so endowed with human and material resources that there is no state in Nigeria that cannot survive on its own and contribute maximally to the national purse. So you allow the states, the federating units, to grow and develop at their own pace. This is what a restructured Nigeria will be. But nobody is talking about it. Somebody even mooted the idea the other day that the PDP presidential candidate, not him saying it because I would have been surprised, but somebody else claiming to speak for him, said he will restructure Nigeria in 6 months. I said, my God, what is wrong with this 6 months thing? We have had the late Chibola Ige say power will come to Nigeria, electricity, in 6 months if he was in power. He never came. And now this one is saying 6 months, you restructure Nigeria. How can you do that? So deceiving Nigerians by way of making promises that are clearly impossible to attain is not my own idea of politicking. Many of them still talk. Because majority of the frontline candidates had been governors for 8 years in their states. And so that mentality of being lord of the manor in their state, where the state assembly was in their pocket, is still what they think that the federal government of Nigeria is an extension of their state governments. It's not going to be so. The National Assembly is not going to be anybody's puppet. Not when there will be greater balance after this 2023 election. So nobody is talking about how he will become president of a federation. They are talking about how they will become president of some glorified subnational. No, it won't work.
All right, let's get back to your party now. Many analysts wonder if APGA is really in the 2023 presidential election because the party seems not to be visible. Now, since you returned, what have you been able to do to make sure the party becomes more visible?
We unfolded our presidential running mate only on Wednesday last week, and the campaign organization led by the DG, and immediately it hit the nation that APGA is the only political party of the 18 parties that has a female vice presidential candidate. That shows for the progressive nature of our party. And between Wednesday and now, we are not yet 1 week. We are already reverberating, resonating across the country. Give us 1 week of full campaign. It will be difficult for any person with clear mind to talk about frontline political parties without including the number 3 party in Nigeria as we speak, because that position has not changed to number 4. Instead, we are looking for it to change, to upgrade to number 2 or 3. So there's already, our presence is already being felt under 1 week. About 5 days of stepping into the arena. In the next 2 weeks, it will be APGA everywhere. The people can't wait to join the race, and we are not going to be involved in jamborees and inviting musicians to entertain crowd. No, we already have what we call a national grid. APGA national grid is made up of so many associations and groups that we used before to perform the magic of 2003. They are still there. They have even increased in number. So that's why I said, even to start, we have a head start of 15 million votes. We now can add to it to make the difference. But if the election is done tomorrow with us on the ballot, 15 million is down before you can add more. Across the country, not Southeast, because, I mean, there is no state in Nigeria we do not have sizable followership. Across Nigeria.
All right, Chief, you joined others to form APGA 21 years ago, which you have also reiterated on the program today. So how will you rate its chances in the elections?
We have a target to win this election. That is our target. We have come out fully determined to be the surprise of the 2023 election. And we intend to be the surprise. In fact, our performance will challenge many scholars and students of political history to go and find out the APGA magic. Is going to happen. So we already have already activated our grid, the national grid. We have activated all our structures across the country. When people talk about structure is real. We have it. We have it. And everybody is so jubilating that at the end of the day, APGA is back. And watch another 1 week. I wish you give me another chance a week after. You'll be the one expressing surprise in what we have felt and seen.
All right, Chief. All right, we'll definitely bring you back. But then, Chief, you've spoken highly of Peter Obi this night. So many continue to wonder, when he left PDP to pursue his ambition, his natural destination should have been APGA, having been a two-term governor on the platform of the party. Why did this happen?
I think he will be in the best position to answer that. You know, I answered how I left APGA, how I founded UPP, went to APC, and returned to APGA. It's only Peter Obi that can give you his own answer for the movement he has made and where he is. I'm not in any position to profile an answer to that question.
All right, I asked the question because, you know, you said you brought him into politics, and I would have thought that the relationship would have been cordial enough for you to know about his movements. But then, how will you rate INEC's preparation for the elections?
Well, honestly, I am one of those who had expressed confidence in the introduction of technology because I'm one of the strongest advocates for increased technology in the electoral process. But looking at what INEC attitude is to this APGA situation vis-a-vis the Supreme Court judgment, I'm beginning to have very serious doubts as to what INEC can do and not do. As to the level of impunity in INEC, that doubt is very strong. And until I am satisfied, I might be going into that election with increased doubt in my mind about the ability of the present leadership of INEC to really give Nigerians something they can rely on. Honestly, I am really disappointed that the INEC I held in such high esteem will be doing what they are doing now. It's so disappointing. So And some people have had other parties, some candidates. Look at the election. Every day, the court will come and reinstate somebody INEC had put in place. Another day, the court will say, go and redo in primary in this state. Some states, about 2 or 3 states, have had their primaries cancelled. Some candidates who thought they were already close to being on the ballot have had their name yanked off the ballot by the courts. And INEC is responsible for all of these positions that are now being upturned by the courts. So how can anybody see all of these things and still think that this very INEC can live up to the expectations of many Nigerians?
All right, so let's talk about insecurity in the Southeast, which is a threat to the conduct of the coming elections. What measures do you think can be taken to salvage the situation?
Well, I have always been an advocate of community policing. And I believe the president can use his special dispensation and powers without necessarily having to go and amend the constitution, to first of all ensure that one is within his power to direct that the police leadership, the police command in Abuja should post police people to their states of origin. And then by that extension, the community police persons, if you like, call them vigilante or whatever name called, will collaborate better with these police people whose language and culture they will understand better. But when you come to the Southeast and they fill the whole place with soldiers, with mobile people, police people, who cannot even communicate with you in ordinary, even pidgin English, they can't. So if you can't speak a particular language in Nigeria, in Igbo land, you are in trouble. So the people feel that there is a sense of siege, that what they have is not police but occupation army. So the resentment is there. Even to give the people vital information that may help fight these people, they are afraid to even do that, because they don't know the person they are talking to. So, but the federal government can still rejig the posting of police people, their commissioners, their DPOs. Go to their state of origin where you serve, you'll be most efficient and more productive. That can help douse a lot of the tension that we are having now by a single presidential order. And in Igbo land, you don't even have ungoverned spaces. You don't have ungoverned spaces because the land is not too much. But allow the people to take care of their local security. You will see these things go down. It's not a rocket science. And we've been making these suggestions for many, many years. Nobody's listening.
All right. You contested for the presidential ticket on the platform of the United Progressives Party, UPP, in the past. What do you think has changed about our elections this time?
What has happened now is that votes count more. I mean, if we take the off-season elections that took place in Anambra, in Edo, in Ekiti, Osun, and so on, you will notice an improved electoral process, more credible process, where votes are now counting better than in the past. And if we had that, say in 2015, even the National Assembly would never have been as lopsided as it is. For 16 good years, PDP controlled government and controlled the National Assembly. And so they ran Nigeria as they like. For 8 years, APC controlled the federal government and controlled the National Assembly. So the principle of checks and balance has disappeared. But looking at the way things are going, 2023 will produce a president, but the National Assembly will be so balanced as it has never happened in the past. And so to ride roughshod over the lawmakers will be near impossible. It will almost be suicidal, because if they believe you don't regard their motions and the law and the laws they pass into acts, then they can also respond using the instrumentality of the Constitution to call the Chief Executive, the President, and Commander-in-Chief to order. But we are not having that. The same thing at the state level. State sits one side and write results. INEC will announce the result they have written. And you come to a state governor is there, 80% of the members of the state assembly belong to his party. So most states change their speakers the way people just change their rappers. That is no democracy. So I see the 2023 election as one that will bring us closer to what democracy is expected to be.
All right, Chief Okorie, it's less than 18 days to the conduct of the general election. What is your last message for Nigerians and particularly Indigbos?
Well, what I'll tell to Nigeria, well, for Indigbo, I will tell them that nobody should stay at home on election day, because this is their time to come and vote for who they want and who they do not want. They vote out. They will not vote for those they do not want. And if they vote for the people they want, their votes will count, and their votes can make a difference. When I see people calculate the number of votes in the Southeast and think Igbo people have the least number of votes, no. Igbo people have about 40% of the registered voters in Lagos State. They have not less than 25% of registered voters in all the states, in every other state of the Federation. So if you use that enormous number and spread, nobody forms government in Nigeria without Igbo support. So Igbo people should not allow people to look down on their God-given number and spread. And to Nigerians, I will tell them, vote for Chief Chekwas Okorie for the next election if you want change, or vote for any of the other people if you want the status quo to remain. Because they are not talking about changing, bringing down this obnoxious constitution and bringing a new one. They are telling you what they will do under an unworkable constitution. And I'm saying that I will bring a new constitution and bring a new change.
Right. Thank you very much. Chief Chekwas Okorie is the founding chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. Thank you very much for coming on Politics Tonight as we take a look at APGA's chances in the coming elections. Thank you very much, Chief Okorie, for coming on Politics Tonight.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thank you very much for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Goodbye.